welcome back to another edition of our Power BI Monthly Digest. And this is the month of August, and my name is Manuel Quintana.
And I'm Devin Knight, and August is oftentimes thought of as the month to return to school.
It is. That gives us, though, trainers, developers, all that, more time to work with more Power BI.
That's right.
We got some features this month, right?
Yeah, not a huge update this month.
Yeah.
But still some nice stuff that maybe people would have expected to be there already in some cases, and in some cases there's some nice additions that I think you'll like as well.
Absolutely. One in particular, we do have something that went GA in this August month. In the form of visualizations.
Yep.
Probably with that little hint, you've got an idea where we're going with it. But yeah, I mean, what's the phrase? Good things come in small packages.
That's true.
There you go.
Yeah.
The first thing, we usually kind of break this down categorically. The first thing is actually a small little item. It's actually, for us, really important. And for any of you out there who maybe take this, you take your knowledge and you further that training, maybe you go into, a SQL Saturday or a Power BI user group, something like that. It's a name change.
Yeah, it's a little nomenclature change here. Yeah, small, but
in an important area, though.
Yeah,
important area. So this is actually going to be whenever we're choosing our sources. Remember that traditional load or edit experience you get? Now it's no longer load and edit.
Oh, so we're going to pull in some new data. Whenever we go select the new data we want to pull in, we're given the option load or edit.
And now it's load and transform data.
I like that. I think that
it makes sense.
It applies more to what you're actually doing there.
Absolutely. I think we just kind of saw it as edit and we said, okay, I accept it.
Yeah.
But now that we see it says transform data, it's definitely going to allow itself to be just far more it can be explained far easier for new beginners.
Absolutely.
They know exactly what it's for.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's go and take a look exactly how this presents itself. Very simple, but this will get us kind of in the flow of things to see this first update.
All right, let's check it out.
So here we can see we're just in Power BI desktop itself. And if we just go like we normally would, let's say if I just go to, let's say like a recent source here, and I just go to AdventureWorks, just this Excel workbook. We'll just load this up, and you'll see right away, I'll just pick a couple things so it gets highlighted here, but right here, transform data. Where we used to have it say edit, transform data.
Simple change, but I think it's a good one.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's right there, it's to the point, but I think we all approve.
I do. I think it's good stuff. All right, so our next one, we're going to hop over into the visualization side of things, right?
Yep, absolutely.
And honestly, I wish this feature's been around. Yeah. I wish it would have been around for a while. It's finally here, though, to be able to group visuals together.
Absolutely.
Right?
And if you're hearing what Devin's saying here about the group, and maybe you're a big PowerPoint fan, and you're wondering, is it the same? The answer is yes.
Yeah.
It is, with a couple little enhancements. So it's going to be a nice, easy transition for those who already use this feature within PowerPoint. For those who are not, you will pretty quickly come to see how helpful this will be. This is going to be something that we kind of pay attention to. Basically, you take note of this and you see it within the selection pane. So we'll go take a look at that now, the idea of grouping.
So the idea, while you're kind of getting to the right screen, I'll talk you through a little bit. So the idea here is, think about this from a PowerPoint perspective, where I have multiple text boxes or multiple images that are on the screen within a PowerPoint deck, and I want to be able to move them around together at the same time.
Absolutely.
Same applies here with Power BI. I want to be able to group multiple visuals together and be able to move them around and apply some formatting to them at the same time, right?
Sure, that's exactly correct. So, very simple page we're looking at here, but very common. It's very common to definitely leverage multiple cards for different type of measures that we want to see, those big impactful numbers. And I've seen people get kind of creative with the concept of like layering visuals on top of each other, maybe stretching things out, just making it work for them, getting creative with their solution. Right. This adds, I think, a much better standardization to that process.
Okay.
So we've got two cards here, right? We want them to stay together. We're going to use them in some form and fashion, so we're going to group them.
Okay.
So just as always, we can click on one and then holding the control key, you can multi-select. This is something we've known and we've seen within all visualizations. So if I go and I just select it there, now by right-clicking, we're going to see that there's this context menu. This is the new option, group. And because this is my first group, I only have the option to create this. I know you'll notice a change occurred in my selection pane.
I see that, yeah.
So before, all of my objects were illustrated. The standard features are there. You can hide or show, but notice now at the group level, I can hide all of these in one go.
Very nice.
If I can click it. There we
There
go.
you go.
This is great, too, for those individuals who really are taking advantage of bookmarking and taking advantage of that multi-layering of visuals and having things appear and disappear.
Yeah.
Well, now you can effectively group your different bookmark instances like that and just make it so much quicker to get it going.
That's great, because that's been a big time-consuming piece whenever you're trying to do storytelling within Power BI with those bookmarks. Be able to hide, you might have 6 or 7 different things you want to hide, and now that you can group them, it makes that a lot easier to do.
No, absolutely. Fully agreed. And, real quick, since we have the cards currently selected, what's quite nice is when you have the group itself selected, so you can see I can choose the group here from the selection pane. This allows me to potentially move these together, like you were mentioning, right? We can move things together. Or while I have the group selected, if I individually click one of the objects, right here, let's see, I'm click this here. Let me click into pick the group, pick an object. I can move it, but notice you have still that grouping element to it. So now if I move them together, you can see I'm going to pick it. I can move it all as one. So, just something to keep things clean and organized.
And you can undo, of course. Yeah.
Absolutely. Control Z comes into play. But one thing that's really nice, right? We select our group. We can notice here in the format area, we have not a ton of options, but one very important one, because we can make this feel like they belong together. They're part of that grouping. We can put on some background colors. So you can just put, any sort of tone there. But now as we move it along, if we start to layer things on top of it, we can see that these items are supposed to be, basically they're relegated to each other. They're related in some way, shape, or form. Maybe we want to draw people's eyes to it. Grouping is always a great thing for us as individual users, how to consume the data.
And so what if you wanted to add something to that group? So let's say you got that key influencer visual on the right-hand side. If you wanted to add that to the existing group, how would you do something like that?
Absolutely. There's actually multiple things we can do here. So with this group actually selected, if we chose key influencers visual, so if I selected this one as well, what actually would occur here is I have the option to group. But what you're going to note here is when we group this, it actually becomes what's known as a nested group. Okay. So right here we can see group 2 has been created, which includes only at this point key influencers. But within group 2, we have group 1, the original one, with both of our cards. So that is definitely one way we can do this. So we can go ahead and we can do an ungroup. So I'm going to just go in here and select this so we go back to how we originally were. Another way, what if I just want to add this? You might have thought by clicking and adding in, well, the selection pane, fully navigational, you can interact with it completely. So I could just drag this in here and decide, where I wanted to put this in the group of it. So notice the background automatically stretched over as well over into the new visualization.
That makes sense.
So and if I wanted to, I could just take it and then drag it out, and it's gone.
That's pretty easy interaction. I like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Straightforward, to the point. That's how we like it.
Very cool. All right, so back up here with us. So you looked at the grouping. I thought that was a nice feature. While it might seem like a small one, it's a pretty big deal. I like it. It makes life a lot easier for you.
I think a majority of the users are going to use that.
Oh, yeah. Another thing that they might notice as they're opening up the Power BI desktop for the first time with the August release is a migration pop-up, right? So talk about that for a moment.
Yeah, so with us, if you're with us in that last video where we did the release for July, we had the filter pane, the new filter pane experience going generally available. We've been kind of harping on that for a little while, saying, hey, this is going to happen, might as well get used to it. Well, that happened last month. If you still haven't gotten on that train, though, there's a new window that's going to be popping up. So if you launch Power BI Desktop and then you open an old report, you're going to get a little pop-up that says, hey, we got a new filter experience. It's just a very quick rundown, bullet points of what it's going to do for you. And then you can hit basically OK if you'd like basically it to set it up for you. It's no longer preview, but to actually go to the reports, it'll go to the report settings and check the box. That'll take care of it for you. So pretty much it. If you do hit cancel, though, it's just going to keep popping up, just so you know. This is something that effectively, when you see some sort of mechanism like this introduced, we haven't ever had it where a feature is officially like completely gone and it's broken, can't use. But this is obviously an effort for them to push everyone towards that filter pane experience. So it can fully be out there on the cloud service and everything like that. So I would say definitely take advantage. I haven't seen or noticed any cons from using it. I mean, personally, I love when you have the new filter experience, the little filter icon on each visual tells you anything that's affecting what you're looking at. I think that just adds so much clarity to the end user experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't see any reason why you guys shouldn't be on that.
Yeah. So then the next thing we're going to look at, again, hangs within the visualization world, and it's talking about the icons.
Sure,
so we talked a little bit about the icons last month within the context of the tables, and you now have conditional formatting with icons. But there's been a change with that where you can now pick an icon style, right? Exactly
right. Yeah, last month we kind of showcased this feature where we had the capability, when you go into conditional formatting, where you can have all these options, where you can do the background, the text color, but now you can do icons, which is great. and we chose what we wanted. Since we're so stylish, we understood, and we went with kind of a theme. We went with the red. I think we went with a circular red X,
Yeah.
a circular yellow X, and then
Green check mark.
a green check mark. Standard. They fit together. Look like a stoplight report, right?
Right.
But there was a ton of choices, if you remember the drop-down selection, all over the place, so you can have fun with it. But what they've done is effectively organized all of those icons into various styles themselves.
Yeah.
So instead of having to choose for each of the 3 thresholds what you'd like to use, just pick the style and choice that you want, and it will apply it to all of it. So pretty cool.
So let's check it out, right?
Absolutely.
All right, let's flip back.
So let me sneak over to this other page. This is the one that we actually used our conditional formatting on. As you can see, like I said, our very stylish colors here. So I'll go ahead and select this. Let me switch back over. Let's find our sales amounts. Hit the drop down, and let's go to conditional formatting icons. So this is initially what we had, were just these 3 areas for each of the 3 thresholds.
Okay.
As you can see already, if you guys are paying close attention, this is the new icon. So within this, you had a bunch of icons you could choose from, and you had to go one by one. But now, if you're interested in the stoplight style, sure. If you want more arrows, go with that. You can go through this option and choose what you would like to be used. It's just an organization of these icons.
So you don't have to hunt down the things that are similar to each other anymore.
Nope,
yeah,
not
makes
at all.
sense. Makes sense.
There's a little, reverse icon order too if you wanted to. So right now it's red, yellow, green. If it needs to be the other way, you just click that.
Now, while we're here, might as well talk about this as well. They've also added some warnings in regards to conditional formatting. So the idea would be, let's say, for example, right now you can see we're using total sales as the basis for the conditional formatting here.
Correct.
But what if that measure was deleted? Or what if something was odd about the way that things were organized and the thresholds we designed?
Yeah.
So what talk us through that a little bit.
Certainly. Now, it should be known there's a little bit of a prerequisite with this. Kind of like with the filter pane, hopefully everybody has switched over. This is not as required, I guess, necessary, but this is only available if you're using the new modern headers.
Okay.
So that has to be toggled on. You have to be leveraging it, or else you will not see this. But there's a new warning message that will appear just here in the new column header. So for instance, let's say in your example, right, we got this, we set up this awesome conditional formatting, and our buddy Mitchell Pearson sneaks in there and just deletes a measure for no reason.
That sounds
what the
like
heck?
Mitch.
That sounds like him, right? So he goes and he removes this. Well, removing the measure has no way in shape or form an impact on the formatting of it. That's going to remain. Right. That's its own separate feature. So if this goes away, the visual, which I think is a good thing, it doesn't error. We'll get rid of this. It's just deleting that. Notice the visual's perfectly fine, which I think that's good behavior.
Yeah.
I don't want my visual to break because of this. But we can see just down here, it's kind of low lighted here, but you can see we couldn't find the value for icons. Click to see details. And you can go in here and it gives you some further details. Basically, couldn't find the value is what it is. And that's because there's nowhere measure. But absolutely, if there's something with data type mismatches or anything like that, something that potentially would cause problem for these icons or conditional formatting, not just icons, conditional formatting to appear, you get a little notification, a little warning for that.
I like that. No, a little assistance there when it comes to that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I think that's just about it, but just a couple highlights here to wrap it up. We had the key influencer visual, which you saw on page 2. It has become generally available. As part of that, they also allowed us now, we saw this before,
where
we could have measures that are part of the key influencer visual, so some improvements there as it's becoming generally available. But that, again, a small update this month.
Impactful, though.
Impactful, but good. Yeah, good stuff.
Absolutely. No, we always love it when the team comes out with some of these things. I said, grouping, I'm pretty sure everybody's going to take advantage of this.
Yeah.
If you haven't, if for some reason bookmarking is not a big part of your Power BI report making life, they need to get into it.
Yeah, they do.
And then when you get into that, then you're going to start loving the grouping.
Absolutely.
So perfect. So we thank you so much for today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed.
And of course, if you could, make sure you subscribe with us at our YouTube channel. You can hit the notification bell so you can make sure you're notified whenever there's any new videos that are made available to you. And we're curious, even though it was a small update, which was your favorite? Comment below. Let us know what your favorite item was that was released this month. We always like to hear back from you as well. So again, my name is Devin Knight, and I'm here with
Manuel Quintana.
And thanks so much for joining us. Thanks.
Take care.